kitchens into the bowl. Well, a man with a hood over his head, and he was looking down, was walking, and he came up to the bowl and he dropped 2 rocks or 2 stones into the bowl. And I knew that's all he had. So I just said, okay, you know what, go in and God bless you. And the man brought his head up and it was Jesus again. And he said, no, God bless you. And as he went in, I looked down, and the stones, the rocks, had turned to gold. They were huge gold nuggets, like river rock. They were huge rocks. And I knew, and in my dream, I started crying because I knew the investments that this church had done, and then David and I personally was going to have a return. This church, corporately, is going to have a return for its investments because God is pleased with us. I went home to tell David, I don't know why he wasn't at church, but I went home to tell David everything that happened. He was at the computer. And so I was telling him the encounter that the church had had. And he goes, I know. I just saw it through Hillsong's church online. Like Hillsong had recorded this encounter with Jesus, which was the same. And so then he goes, oh, look, there's another church that had an encounter. So we started watching it on the computer. Same thing. A man came in. He was looking at the billboard, looking at the church events. And this is a church we didn't know. It was unknown. And somebody again said, look, it's Jesus. And the man lifted his face, and he looked at the people, and he said, is it? And then the minute he said that, his face had changed into a creature, and I knew it was the enemy. And then somebody out of the congregation said, I want a doll that looks just like you. And the creature just made it appear and threw it at the guy, and he was so excited. He was, wahoo, wahoo, holding up the doll like an idol. And then the creature, if you can imagine a rock concert, this creature, the enemy, jumped into the middle of this congregation. They were holding him up, and they were celebrating, and they were worshiping. And just as I was waking up, the creature's face turned into a misshaped human head, but it was a skull was painted on it, like death. And as I was waking up, the scripture that came to mind, it says, the devil comes like an angel of light. And so when I woke up, I asked David, I said, well, how would we know if it was really Jesus or if it wasn't? And David, his wisdom, said, well, by his acts. And the first Jesus that came to our church, by his acts, had to be Jesus because he met each one personally. And the second one loved being worshipped. And, rock concert kind of. So that was my dream.
Wow, wow, wow.